Hello, everyone. So today I'm gonna do some live prototyping in Odin and Raylib, I was thinking. So I managed to ship my game a few weeks ago on Steam and stuff. That's all good, but haven't really gotten going with a new project yet. Hello, Ian. Good evening. I have my cat and onion mug ready. The waterfall here being happy. Very good. Yeah, I finished my game and haven't gotten going with anything, and I've been trying to kind of figure out what to do. But I wrote on Twitter the other day that people say shipping a game is hard, but no one told me about the sort of after you ship a game that you can also be stressed, because suddenly you need to start on something new if you want to make another game, and then suddenly all this like the endless sea of possibilities, and then also maybe you're a bit tired from working on the game you just shipped. But I feel it's a few weeks ago now, like today I feel a bit excited about doing something, so that's good. So we're just gonna, I have some little idea for what to try out. We can start with just checking that our Odin compiler is nice and up to date and working. I have it in my C:programs folder here. I built it from source. Wait, when is this from? This is from yesterday. That's gonna be fine, I'm sure. Let's just build that. I think I pulled it and built it yesterday, but I'm not sure. So make sure we have a nice compiler there. There we go. And then I'm thinking that we're gonna just set some things up in Sublime here, so I can build from within Sublime and just be happy from start. Nothing too fancy, just a simple build script. I realize the folder I have open here is cat and onion code, so we just start a new window and pull this tab I have here open to there, and then we can wait, what's happening now? Yeah, we close this one. And I'm gonna put this one here. This is sort of my little scratch window where I can type some stuff. Sometimes when I do my videos, I have my like on the side there I have my sort of like outline and stuff. So let's just write a tiny bit of Odin code here, save it in some folder, and then put in the things in Sublime so that we can compile this project. And maybe for this project I want to have the build stuff in the Sublime project rather than as a build tool separate. We'll look a bit at how to do that. But I will just write something like package game main proc, like that. Maybe we can yeah, maybe we can just open a window that's closable. Then we do something like import rl vendor :Raylib. So we import the Raylib package, and then we write rl dot what is it called? Yeah, so here we immediately need to pull in the Raylib folder into my project here. So let's do that. Let's go into Odin vendor, put in the Raylib folder here. So then I have in my sidebar here I have Raylib, so I can look at code in Raylib. Then I also want the core, examples, and base folders from Odin, so I can just jump to code in those. That's also nice. And now I can be like create window or whatever it's called. Go to Raylib. Window, init window it's called. this guy. I wish, you know, one thing I wish in Sublime is that you could split this tab well, like I could split this thing vertically and but also split horizontally. Because I would like to have some stuff on the bottom here. But anyways, init window, let's just give it a resolution, any old resolution, and then we say trains, because I'm thinking we're gonna try to do a little train. I want to experiment something with trains, and I was thinking maybe we can build a track and have some stations and then have some trains run between them. I mean, let's try doing something like that. And I will try to do something very prototypey with mostly boxes, you know, there's not going to be much graphics. And then we run this thing, we'll make a loop. We run this loop for as long as the window doesn't want to close, and if it wants to close, we run close window. And then we need here to do rl.begin drawing, rl.end drawing. I think this is the minimum Raylib program. This just opens a window, and you need these two because the end drawing is actually the thing that pulls the input so that it actually knows if the close button was pressed and stuff. And after this loop it will close it all. And then we need to make a folder for all this. Let's go into the repos here and make a new one called trains. And we will just write main.odin for now. Like that. Good. And let's try to make this compiler. Let's save this as a project, sort of, you know, a Sublime project, because previously, you know, I've been putting my I've had a separate build system that lives in a separate file, and then I haven't really used the Sublime project stuff. But actually, I can put the build system in the Sublime project so that the build system for being able to press F7 to build and run is actually part of the associated more with this project. So let's try to do that. We will go in here and save project, save project as, and then we will just write project here, trains.sublime project. Good. So we've done that, and now we just need to, I think what we need to do is hello Transmutrix. Thank you for all your nice activity on Twitter. Transmutrix always likes and replies and interacts with my stuff on Twitter. So it's nice to say hi. So here is the Sublime project, and I think in here I can add build systems. Let's do some Googling. Google. Sublime text build system in project. Let's Google that. Okay. No. Yeah, I think this is right. So I can. Is this even? What is this? What is this thing? What's this? Someone is like build system : and then there's a. This doesn't even look like. Okay, so this is how you do it. I think I've been here before. What is this? I mean, I'm not gonna use these. I'm just copying some stuff now, but I'm okay. Let's go. Let's try it. That just looks like crazy stuff. Build this. Yeah, this is how it's supposed to look. Let's take this instead, and then remove that. Yeah. It was that one. yeah, maybe the missing one. This one was missing, but so let's see now. Oh, it's still on cat. Yeah, we need to go into project preferences. Where is it? Where is it? Build system. And now you get a build system here. It's not, of course, not gonna be called list. It's gonna be called run, and it's gonna do Odin build Odin run dot. This is sort of, this compiles and runs your own game. So this will give me a build system now. If I go back into project, preferences, no, tools, build system, run. Okay. Yeah, so now I can do that. Oh, and okay, it worked. Oh, thank you for liking my stuff, Transmutrix. Hello, Pavel, or this the funny Polish L. I have a Polish name, but I can't actually speak Polish. But it's like the Woods L, so it's, I guess it's Paul. I don't know. Hi, anyways, thanks. Right, so that works. So you see, we have a game now. Oh. So we're done. We can start a window. I think the window security is going a bit crazy as usual over Odin executables. Let's see what it's actually complaining about. It hasn't. Sometimes when you build Odin programs, the Windows Defender will be like, it's a virus because it's a false positive because it doesn't recognize Odin code really. Okay, but okay. So what I want to do here is to sort of like maybe trying to make a little train game. Build track plus connect stations or something, and we're not gonna have any cool graphics here really. We're just gonna have like we're just gonna probably do it with like different colored blocks and stuff for now, because then I don't have to worry about that right now. So let's just try to do some stuff here. So we have our, and I will add in, is Windows Defender gonna say this every time and if I click it, it does nothing. It doesn't show me any, like that thing that pops up. I click it because I think I'm like, what does it do? It pops up every time I compile. Okay, can I make it not tell me that it is thinking about maybe doing something? Maybe that one? Yeah, sure. Pavel asks if I wouldn't prefer to do this. Defer RL close window. No, I don't use defer. I know many people like see it as a killer feature of Odin, but actually I don't use it. I don't think it makes. I mean, to me this is easier to read. Here it inits the window, and then here it does stuff, and then I can look at the code below the for loop here and know exactly what will happen. With the defer, there is things happening down here that is written up here. I would only use defer if it's a really long function where I want something to really happen at the end, sort of maybe wants to do some error handling at the end, or it wants to print like maybe it accumulates a lot of, like maybe it should only do something in some cases or something, but I almost never use defer for this kind of stuff. I mean, I've seen people do like this also, and then they you know, then they do like and then they do like draw stuff here, and then, you know, end drawing will be called afterwards. I don't think this is just unclearer to me than doing this is much clearer. I think you should do, I only like using defer when it gives some kind of structural benefit, which is in a few cases. Yeah, if you use defer like this, and your main loop would exit for some reason, then it would run this. But if your main loop quits and it doesn't close the window properly, I mean, your program will still quit and just remove the window. I guess it's nice if you have some proc. Where you do a lot of stuff, like you do a lot of stuff, and then you do a defer some stuff here, and then you do a lot more, and then maybe there's a if here, and then there's a return, and then it does some more stuff. Maybe in this case, then it's nice. And I think these are some of the few cases where I do it, when I have a proc that's part of the actual game. Maybe it has allocated some memory and it needs to return that memory at or something. But the thing is, I almost never allocate memory and need to defer like that, because I always use the temp allocator. So actually, I never almost do it. And I think I use defer there's two times I use defer in the whole Cat and Onion, or something like that. So it's not my I don't think it's that important. Anyway, so we need to clear background here, so we need some nice color. Maybe we just go with some kind of gray color. Let's write something like 52, 50. Maybe we make it slightly green. 62, 52, 50. 255. So this is a slightly green. We call it color ground. We're clear with that. So it's Astreus asks if I have any idea what I'm working on, and if I'm planning on reusing code from Cat and Onion. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do some little thing where you can place train tracks maybe, and you can have a train run from station to station, and then I'll see if I can find some nice gameplay. Currently I'm just thinking, let's try to do something where you run a train somehow back and forth. Like maybe the train goes automatically, but you just place the track and you connect station. I'm not we'll see. It's just some vague idea I had because I thought it would be fun to do something with trains. Maybe there'll be some cat things in there, who knows. Regarding reuse code from Cat and Onion, what I will do is whenever I need stuff, I will copy it over. I will at some point need some hot reloading, then I will copy like if I will copy over the hot reloading when I need it, and maybe there's some more stuff, like just some solutions to things I've done, like small things, like I have this somewhere, but there's no real engine to Cat and Onion, it's just Odin, Raylib, and then lots of code. It's not. Okay, so we're clearing the background with some kind of... I don't think you even see this because my face is in the way, but every time I build, the Windows security pops up and says that it needs to do a scan. And I'm like, okay, go ahead and do your scan. Like I can... yeah, I'll show you next time it pops up. I can do this. I need to get rid of it because it drives me insane. Like I move my face now. No, not the whole video, my face. Oh, it disappeared. Wait, let me show again. So each time I compile, this thing pops out here. And it's not that it found a... It hasn't even found anything. It just says it needs a security scan. Okay, how can I make you stop doing this? Like, what? Your administrator. That's me. It's like, oh, your administrator needs you to do this. Okay, sorry, I need to. Pavel is asking why you shouldn't free memory when your application game is quitting OS. Are you referring to the thing that you could actually skip freeing, like having I think it's just this refers to that you don't, like if you have memory allocated and it's not memory that's growing every frame, you just allocate it once at the beginning. You don't actually need to free it at the end because, you know, that would be freed when the program quits. I tend to clean that up anyways because maybe that allocation happened inside some system where it's nice to have, you know, say it's some system that like is reused in different places. Then it's good to make sure that all parts of your code do clean shutdowns and deallocate everything. But if it's a single allocation just at the beginning of the program, then you could skip freeing it. But I tend to just try to make my tracking allocator happy. So because if I have my tracking allocator keeps saying every time, you have a leak, then you know it will be bad. Yeah, I don't have the OLS language server. It was when my exe launches every time it yeah, so Pavel, you don't really need to free all your memory when you're quitting to the OS. You won't all that memory will be returned to the system, but it's kind of good practice to make sure that you know where your memory went. You know, you can account for all your memory. That's, you know, it's nice to know what your program is doing, especially if that memory comes from some subsystem. But just put in the tracking allocator. Actually, let's we'll do that when we need it. But yeah, well, maybe I put it in now. Put in the tracking allocator. So what I will do here probably is have a separate window with the cat and onion source in, and I will steal some stuff from there. Let's go to main, and I will steal this code here and go back to my other one. So this is the tracking allocator. I think it's called, where is it? Mem. Yeah, so now we need to import core mem. Yeah. So we have, because I had my own tracking allocator in cat and onion for different reasons. Allocator from tracking. Is that what it's called? No, it's just called this. So this will make us get a tracking allocator. It sets the tracking allocator on the context so we can init memory. and when you then init any memory, then I can also do some more stuff here to make sure it screams at me if, wait, go here, wrong file. Let's steal this code, put this at the end here, tracking allocator. So this loops over all the stuff in the tracking allocator, and it will say if it leaked. So we put that in, and then finally we also need to, and here is, I think I made a video about this, and my video is a bit dangerous because this is missing one thing here. This is missing the bad free check, because the tracking allocator does two things. It tracks memory, but it also tracks bad frees, which essentially means if you free something that has already been freed, it will track that. And this doesn't currently say anything about that, so it needs to do that as well. But I realize my tracking allocator doesn't even do that. So let's look at the tracking allocator. Clear on free all bad free array. Yeah, 4. Is that like a 4? So the thing with bad frees is that if you don't check these, then they just silently get no error for bad frees, and then everything will be fine until you get a bad free that accidentally frees something that was actually already allocated, and then you get random memory corruption. So if you use the tracking allocator but you're missing this stuff, then you can get random memory corruptions, and you also don't see any of the bad frees, because usually when you don't have a tracking allocator, the bad free will make your program crash. But the tracking allocator, if you look at it, tracking proc, what it does is it's like, okay, if you're freeing and the old memory is not nil and old memory is not in the allocation map, so it doesn't know about this memory, then it just adds it to this thing. What will happen here usually is this. This is what will happen usually. It will just run the procedure regardless. But in this case, it just adds it silently to this thing. So if you do not check the bad free array, then all your bad frees will just silently go in here instead of crashing the program immediately. But they will just go in more and more bad frees into this array, but eventually one of those memory addresses that was supposed to be a bad free have actually already been reused by some other code in the program, and then it is actually in the allocation map. But you think that maybe you're freeing your array of sheep, but it's actually, that array is used for your triangle buffer in your renderer, blah blah blah, but it was previously used for your sheep. But since it is a valid pointer and it's not nil, and the thing is in the allocation map, then this won't happen. So then it will just go in here and you suddenly free something that you think you're freeing your sheep, but you're actually freeing your triangle buffer. So if you use a tracking allocator and not check this all the time or assert on it or something, then your program will get random memory corruption. And I do not mention this in my video I made on this, because I didn't know about this and got random memory corruption after months. Like, I had random memory errors for a long time and I couldn't figure out where they came from. In Cat and Onion, I made a copy of the tracking allocator. And what I did was I did this. If it's a bad free, it panics immediately. I think this is a much better thing. It just works like usual. It will detect a bad free and just crash, but it will tell you the location at which it happened. at which it's trying to do the bad 3. Because I think then you can just fix it immediately, because the bad 3s are not hard to fix. You just see that, oh, I'm not nilling this pointer that I freed at some point, so it got freed again. That's sort of what tends to happen. So yeah. Yeah, Justin says that they will go over this, and actually Justin did not know this, and I think I have tried to convince people in the Odin Discord that the tracking allocator, like, it's weird, I think, that the tracking allocators, the moment you use the tracking allocator, suddenly you have changed the behavior of what a bad 3 does. Like, you know, the memory allocation still works like usual, but bad 3 suddenly change behavior. They go from crashing to silently getting added to a list. And if you do not know about that list, maybe you watched my video and I didn't know what I was doing properly. So I just did only this stuff. I didn't look at the bad 3 stuff. So then you will get random memory corruption over time. I think it's just crash. Or you make a copy of the tracking allocator and make your own version that crashes. But the best version here is to each frame use, like, this will never do anything usually because there will be no bad 3s. But what you do is like this, any bad 3s or something, I don't know, and then any bad 3s equals true, and then we say how does the bad 3 array look even? It has a memory and a location. Okay. Bad 3. So we just do this. And I'm gonna do someday an updated version of my memory allocator, because I have a video on this where I go over all these things, but I did not know about the bad 3 stuff, that the tracking allocator did that. So I'm gonna do a new video someday where and just like hide the old one or something, because I think lots of people watch that video and implement exactly what I have done, and there's lots of people now with programs that randomly corrupt memory. But I think I'm not gonna take responsibility for that, because I think it's I think the tracking allocator perhaps could use some like they should just remove the bad 3 array and just make it a panic or something, like something that does not change the behavior of your program, I think. And here we can just do panic, bad 3s. Is that how you do it? I'm not sure. Oh yeah, so now I can't press F4 to go to next error, so let's add that as well to our project. Edit a project. We can go to cat and onion and steal stuff from there. Or actually update that. Let's go in here. Here is the cat and onion build system somewhere. And I want the file regex. I think I can just toss it into here. And now, no, okay. No, it needs to be in the build. Does it need to be in the build system maybe? Let's try that. Maybe it needs to be here. Yes, there we go. So now I get this. So we need to do that, set up a tracking allocator, import core fmt, and there you go. Now it works. So now, you know, if I were to do like mem.alloc 200 here, hello, and I do not free this memory, this allocates 200 bytes, and I click here, and now you see here I got an error on the shutdown, leak 200 bytes on exactly this line here. So that's good. And same thing if we did a bad 3 delete would also work. But now we have that, so now we don't need to care about that anymore. Okay, let's try to get going with a little game programming here, because I've been doing this for like half an hour now and haven't done much. I'm gonna bump the resolution a bit. Maybe also I wanna do this. rl.set window position 200 maybe. Is that how you do it? Yes, it is. So it always ends up here. For some reason I made a brown color. Red green. I want this color. Like that. I'm getting crazy at this because I don't think I have OLS installed even. Like uninstall package remove LSP. No, I don't have it. It is what I have. So I keep getting this security warning each time I compile. So I'm gonna try to fix that now, because it's getting. I'll show you again what it does. Move my face here a bit. Each time I compile, this thing pops out here, and there's no there's no nothing in there to make it stop. Like, oh yeah, maybe it's in here. Yeah, I don't want that notification. Stop showing me that it needs to do a scan that doesn't do anything. Okay, let's turn off that one. See if it works. Nope, still getting it. Okay, turn off everything. See if anything at all does anything. Yeah, okay, that removed it. Oh well. I don't know. It's not doing anything, Windows Defender. It's just popping up, and now pop up the random crap again. It just tells me that it needs to do an extra scan, but it doesn't do anything. Yeah, okay, it's still doing it with everything disabled. So yeah, I think I need to put in a whitelist, because it's just driving me crazy. So let's turn on all this again. Yeah. Good. And then we go back here, home. And we will, how do I whitelist a folder? Allowed threats. Nope. Manage settings. Okay. Virus. Yeah, manage settings. Okay, thank you. Add or remove exclusions. Right. Add an exclusion folder. And then it shows my Disco Elysium data. That's good. It's this one. Select folder. Right. Let's see how that goes. Yeah. Now it's gone. That's good. Now we can. It was bugging me. Maybe I make a nicer. Now I'm almost already like, I would like some hot reload, please, because. But it's fine for now. I can live without it for a bit. I will add it soon, but because I was like, just changing some stuff here, but it compiles and runs so quickly currently, so it doesn't really matter. 180, 220. No, that's too bright. 120, 180, 120 maybe. Sure, nice background color. Okay, so let's add some. So we want to have in this game some kind of little train tracks with some stations or something. So we need a list of, we need some kind of grid maybe, or some kind of list of things. Let's just make it so that we can paint blocks in a on like the ground or something. So where do we add that? Let's just add it here for now. Blocks is a dynamic list of, what is it really? It's like we need some kind of grid, right? And then we need to mark that certain things in the grid is used, but I also don't want it to be. Let's just add a list of coordinates right now. So we can define a new type that's just an 2 I32s or something. So we'll do like this. That's just a list of where there is a block. So I was thinking blocks, like it's gonna be train tracks, but first I want to just be able to sort of paint in a grid block somehow. And then I want to do, I haven't moved my face back, I realize, from my Windows Defender crap. And then I want to check where my mouse pointer is. rl.get mouse position, something like that. Yeah. Let's just see here. Oh yeah, that's not a that's a type. That's not a. Okay, and down here we have, this looks correct. It's in, that is 1920 times 1080 is down here. So that's all good. So let's check if we can maybe draw like how big should these be? Maybe how big should each tile be here? It's like tiles essentially. I want like small blocks that is like a train track. Let's just draw it wherever the mouse cursor is currently. So we take rl.draw rectangle, rec maybe, that this draws a rectangle using a Raylib rectangle, and then we say mp.x, mp.y, and then we'll say 2020, and then we need a color track. It's rl.color, and it's more of a sort of dark gray. 32, 255, maybe. So now we have like a little block hanging around with our cursor like this. I want it a bit bigger. still a bit bigger. I know this is not, I haven't tweaked the height of the camera or like what's the pixel density or anything here really yet, but need to care about that right now. Okay, that's good enough for me for now. Let's try to clamp this mouse position to some kind of so I like doing stuff like this, like trying to figure out how to draw something. So I will sort of make it so that you get the block under the mouse cursor clamped to some kind of grid, and then we can maybe use that grid to store these sort of blocks, more track pieces, whatever you want to call them. So what we do here, I guess, is mp.x equals mp.x divided by 10. Is this how you do it? Turn it into an int. Or you round it rather. Math.round and then times 10 again. Well, actually it should be 50 here maybe. Then we can maybe define some kind of grid size constant. That's 50. Something like that maybe. Yeah, maybe. Oh yeah, need some math. Need some math, and I need my cable to stop poking my hand. It's like hanging under the mic. Import core math, is that it? Okay, and now it went all crazy, and I think I know why, because it says y there, yes. And now you see it sort of snapping around instead, like that. In some kind of grid. So that's good. I would like it to be always under the cursor. You see, now it's like it behaves a bit weirdly. And I think, why is that then? Ah, I know why. It the origin of the rectangle. Wait a minute. The origin of, but the rectangle is drawn from here down to, it's drawn from up here. Right. It's a classic. It's off by half the size of the rectangle, which means I mean, I know that I can plus 25 here and it will be fine. I'm just trying to figure out why. So it's at 0. Here it is at, okay, it is at, my mouse cursor is at, it's because, yeah, this is the problem. You shouldn't use round, you should use floor. Look at that. So the common problem when you use rounding instead, because then from the, if it's in beyond the middle in X or Y direction, then it will actually jump to the next one here. But you know, I want it to, since the corner system sort of starts in the upper left corner here, I want it to, how to say, I guess this is a byproduct from by the mouse cursor coordinates being counted from top left, and these things having the coordinates also being counted from top left. So it's nicer to floor, because then it behaves the same way as the cursor in a sense, or something like that. Blah diddy blah. Okay, we're drawing that nicely. Let's check if rl dot is, what's it called, mouse but is mouse but what's it called then? Okay, is mouse button down, like pressed. Let's use pressed for now. Then we will, okay, so what we can do here now instead of is we can be like, okay, the hover chord is a vec2 I, and it has this, no wait, it's just then you just do this, I think. I think you just do this then. So then you have your hover chord, and then this thing is sort of like can just do like this to, I mean this mouse thing is, we'll replace that eventually, it's fine. It's just some kind of debug drawing. This should still do exactly the same thing, I think. Huh? What happened? Oh. Oh yeah, it's like an I32. I just use an int, it doesn't matter. Ah. Yeah, that still works fine. And then we say like track pieces dot append track pieces. I know this will create duplicates right now, but we will fix that at some point. Yeah, it doesn't do anything yet, but we can now be like for t in track pieces, and then we say something like this. Steal that code, we say t.x, t.y, compile. Now I can place this. Yay, I made the most horrible pixel art editing tool in the universe. I can't even hold to paint. So let's maybe add so you can hold to paint here. That would be nice, right? The problem then is that if you just change if mouse button down, then you will constantly get duplicates in here right now. There's many ways to fix that. I mean, you could use a set or something, or have some smart spatial partitioning. I will do the quick and dirty right now. I will just loop over all of them. If it's down, if t equals hover chord, then found is true, and then we say, yeah, it can break here. I mean, this is fun. These are the kind of optimizations that people tend to do. You know, like you'd be like, oh yeah, this code here is not very, is slow to run all the time, so we put a break here. I'm like, yeah, but the problem is that this code is here. Like in the long run, maybe you want either some kind of set or some spatial partitioning or something to make it nice and quick. You don't want maybe this, but so you know, putting a break here is it's sort of like, maybe we can call this the in denial break. Like, oh look, I optimized it. But yeah, whatever. Let's do it. Doesn't matter. And now we can paint. Now we can paint a cat. Excellent. With the world's shittiest pixel art program. It was supposed to be trains. What happened? I don't know. Okay, so we have some kind of way to paint out stuff. Now I'm thinking that I want to... I mean, eventually it would be nice to have some kind of track pieces that, you know, they can go sideways or up or be a little turn or something, or maybe it auto-detects that as you paint. But currently you can do like this. I mean, good luck trying to figure out what a train track is from all this stuff. But you know, let's worry about that later. Oh, it would be nice to be able to hold... it would be nice to hold the right mouse button to remove or something, maybe. Pavel says that you don't have to initialize booleans by... Yeah, you can do this too. I mean, usually I would do this, like say it's a struct or something. I mean, I did this up here. Here, I just say it's just with bools. It's almost the same amount of code, and to me it's just like, oh, it's... I don't know. I just tend to do this with bools because they only have 2 values, and I don't know. I just tend to do with bools. But yeah, you can for sure just do this. I mean, I do the same thing here. Yeah, it's just something I do with bools. I think it's a... Let's just keep it like that. If rl.is mouse button down right, and we loop over all the pieces, and if we are on the correct one, here it's important to break because we're gonna remove this one and while looping. But so then it's important. So we do an unordered remove. Unordered remove in Odin does... It's a faster kind of remove. Instead of removing something and then copying back everything, you know, writing over that slot, instead takes the last item and puts it in the place and then just makes it a bit shorter. It's much faster, but if you care about the order of your things, then it's not so good. This is nice. You know, then you have a for loop like this. This gives me the element, the value, but then I can just add a thing here to get the index, because that's what you need here, right? Now I should be able to remove as well. Fantastic. Okay, so we can place what I call tracks now. Maybe now I want to be able to place some stations, so we need 2 editing modes. Let's have a little indicator in the bottom here, maybe, that says what I'm doing currently. Placement mode is an enum that has track or station. And we do a placement we don't do a placement mode, we do a placement. Mode equals placement mode. No, let's just call it placement mode. Placement mode. I need to close some crap in Firefox here. I opened all this. Also, that's every time I click the security scan thing, it opened it in Firefox, but behind my window somehow. So this will start at the default value of placement mode, which is track. And then Then we can print something in the bottom of the corner maybe. Switch PA in placement mode. Switch case dot track case dot station, and then we just do maybe whatever. Thank you, it's Astreus. Thanks for watching. Have a nice time to work on your stuff. Let's just do like this. I mean, I guess I could. Okay, I don't need any of this right now. I can just do this. I just want to print the name of the editing mode in the corner, but we can just do rl.draw text. Draw text ex, whichever it is that. Yeah, this gives us font, and actually I can just use. Let's for once use the default Raylib font. I usually tend to swap out the default Raylib font, but let's just use that. We can say like a 20 and then rl.get. Let's put it in the upper corner. Why do such complicated things when you can do simple things for now? It doesn't matter right now. Yeah, Justin says that starting off with colored squares is the best way to start off a project. Yeah, it's quite good, especially if you're doing something where it's important to get a feeling for the art style early. Maybe you should do some early, like, I don't know, it depends a bit on the game, but especially if you do some puzzle game or you're doing some kind of, yeah, you want to try out mechanics, right? Then it's good. Draw text. Yeah, I need a C. So here's an annoying thing with using Raylib, well, any C-lib, that you need to pass a C string everywhere. And C strings are null terminated, whereas Odin strings are not null terminated. So the C string needs an extra 0 at the end of the memory that contains the text. In some world, I wish that the Odin strings both had a 0 and were also, that they both had a 0 but also had a separate, like in Odin, the little length. However, that doesn't work because Odin supports slicing, like making substrings very easily without any allocations, and then you can just take a pointer plus a length. So then suddenly those slices of text wouldn't be possible to pass as a C string anymore. So I understand why it is like it is. It's unfortunate, but then anytime you make a C string, you must somehow make sure that it contains the null terminating 0 at the end. And what that usually means for me is that I use temp allocate it, which brings me to, I don't have there's a built-in temp allocator in the context here. I should have a free, with the temp allocator, you're responsible yourself for freeing it at some good point. And in a game is usually at the end of your frame. Just each frame, just nuke everything in the temp allocator. So then you know that you can temp allocate anything and use it at any point before the end of the frame, but never store anything that comes out of the temp allocator over the frame boundary to the next one. Okay. And then we are here, draw text. What's happening here then? We want to just, how do I clone to, wait, actually there's like fmt dot print ct print, this one, c temp print. It's a funny thing. I think this is I'm gonna do a pull request one day, because there is a t print which just takes the argument, so you can just print it temporary to a string, and there is a t print which also temporarily print something, but using a format string. And then there is a ct printf, but there's no ct print. So I must always have a format string when I use this one. It's not a big deal, but it seems like someone missed it. Is that how I use it? Maybe. Can I just do this? I don't remember. Placement mode. Maybe like that. Yeah, Zach says that he wouldn't mind if the string was always null terminated, and that usually you don't drag a slice string into FFI code, like into C code, for example. I did that quite a lot in my game. Like anytime I had my dialogue, I had a whole string, and then it appeared over time, and then they say they were saying stuff, and it sort of appears over time. That's a slice of a string that is sent into C. So then it needs to be temp C allocated to a null terminated string. So and I think it's good like it is now, because you don't get random crashes. Because otherwise it would need to know, oh, I am a sliced one, so I don't have the null terminator, and then then you get a runtime error instead. Like maybe it would say, like, it would assert and be like, oh no, you're now trying to pass a string as a C string to an C interface, but actually this one came from this one doesn't have a null terminator, so you can't do that. It's just not easily solvable, I think. It's just unfortunate. The good solution would have been if the C libs maybe exposed the length separately from the pointer. But even in that case, even if for example Raylib takes a pointer plus a string length, yeah, it does that, and that would work on a surface level. That maybe Raylib does some can skip doing some string length stuff in there and whatever. But if the Raylib code in turn, sends its stuff into any standard C library, like any other library that expects a normal C string, then everything is broken again, because then you need that null terminator always. So it's just null terminated strings is I understand why they did it back then, but today it's just this, because C has become this thing people use to make cross language compatible APIs and stuff, then the C string has actually become a quite big problem. Yeah, but Daniel says that the real solution for Ray isn't up to the library to take in a length, but it doesn't work, because Raylib probably sends on its strings to some other C library. It uses a lot of other C libraries, and then those will expect a null terminated string. So you can, if you have a super tight library that never does and sends it off to any other library, and you know where all the places use a string, then you could take in a string length. But the moment you send it off to somewhere else that might expect a null terminated string, then so C strings are like cursed. You can't really get around the problem with having to have null termination if you want it to be somewhat safe. So we need maybe we can write, maybe the Odin community can write a Raylib re-implementation in Odin. No, I'm joking. I love Ray and Raylib. It's just this is the only thing I really dislike, because it's just a thing about C interacting with C code from other languages that is annoying. Kantal is asking why aren't you using a pre-made editor like Unity, Unreal instead of doing your own, instead of doing game you're doing an engine. I understand what you mean. You're saying that I'm making an engine instead of using a pre-made engine. I think it's just more fun to make games like this. It's the only time I've been able to ship a game in my life, which was a few weeks ago. I did it like this. Every time I tried to use a game engine, I found it too tiresome to finish the game, because it's easy in the beginning, but it becomes tiresome after a month, usually, when I use like Unity. And also I try to not make an engine. I'm just using Odin and Raylib, and I'm just writing the gameplay code. And if I need a level editor, then I program that. But I never make I don't sit and and make the engine code and then I use that engine code to make the game. I just do things all at once, sort of. But okay, Johnny says in Zig I think strings are null terminated slices. So when you slice a string then in Zig, what does it do? Because does it then reallocate the memory? Which sounds like Zig is a sort of low-level C-ish language. That doesn't sound so fun. I think allocation-free substrings is great. But it's funny anyways, this thing with C strings, but because as long as you're only making your game in C, for example, then this sort of is not a problem. It's just that the string length computations that tend to happen with C a lot is a bit slow, but if you ignore that, it's not a big problem. It's just that when you interface from other languages. What was I doing? I was doing something with draw text. Okay, it wants a font size and then a color. Okay, it wants a text first. I'm not even... And then it wants a font size, so say, and then we say rl.black. Okay. Oh yeah, I need to do this. fmt.print, I think. No, tprint, of course. This allocates memory. Now it says track up here. That's excellent. That's what I wanted. I'm just a bit annoyed that there's two tempo allocations, because it does this to make this into a string. Whatever. Daniel asks, can't you make a helper function for converting an Odin string into a C string? Yeah, this thing here, if you do this, this will temp allocate. This will take this string and push out the C string. You can even make a temp C string proc string like that. C string, but you can do this like that. I think that's what I did in cat and onion. Let's me find the temp C string. Oh yeah, you can also do this, of course, instead. It's equivalent, more or less, clone strings, clone to C string. Yeah. And now I need to put in the core. I'm gonna explain why this doesn't really solve anything. It's of course neat, but wait, what am I doing here even? It was like So you know, you can use a function like this to clone your C string, but you still, the problem here is that anytime you want a C string, you need to do memory allocations, because you need your string is 5 long, and then it needs the 0 at the end, and then it needs to be 6 long because you need a null terminator. So then you need to do an allocation, you need to use a temp allocator, and that's the annoying thing. Yeah, like Justin says, there is something in let's keep this one around this proc, because I will use that later, but I don't need it right now, because here I need to do this. So it says track, and then I sort of want to if rl.isKey pressed .1, then I set placement mode equals track, and then we do else if rl.isKey pressed 2. These are my number keys on my keyboard. Placement mode equals .station. Then I can change with 1 and 2 here. Of course it doesn't do anything yet, but that's not a big deal. Okay, so let's try to maybe do this draw track piece proc p vec2i. Then we yoink this code over here. We take the position like that, blah blah blah. Then we can say like this: draw track piece hover chord. And then we can go down here and we can say draw track piece T. Should still work, all this. Yes. And then I want to do the station stuff. So when I'm in the station mode, it draws something different, right? We can switch here, maybe switch placement mode, case track. Blah. I lost my thing. Station. So now it shouldn't draw anything when I'm in the station mode. Yeah, now it draws that, and now I switch to station, it draws nothing. And what is a station then? Maybe it's a free pieces long yellow thing or something. I don't know. Color track, color station, rl.color. What's it called? Red, green. What's yellow? Is it like this? 100, 28, 0 to 5. Blue. I'm not very good at this color theory thing, you know. Oh, not you. Well, you. Draw station at this point, but it's just gonna be 3 times wider. Draw station at hover chord. Huh? Amazing. Maybe the station is even. We give it 2 tracks right away, so it's like this. So we can. Let's see how that works. That color is terrible, by the way. Wait, I'm gonna switch into colorblind. Like now I'm in colorblind mode. This one is very, or like I'm in grayscale mode. This one is almost. I could feel that there was like this color is very close to the green one. So you do something like this. Maybe you mix in a little blue into it. See, now it's stands apart. Okay. And then we say stations. Okay. Now this is starting to get a bit. I should probably have some grid, and it should probably know in the grid like what is there. It shouldn't be like. Okay, let's maybe try to figure that out. Like how to make a grid. Because the station, it will need to know like, so I'm gonna run a little train between the stations, right? And it will need to not be able to check like, yeah, we need some kind of grid. We need some kind of grid. Let's maybe do something simple at first, just a grid that starts at 0, 0 and runs down. I don't know how big is our grid. 50, what's 1920 divided by 50, 38. What's 1080 divided by 50, 21, 38, 21. Let's do 40 times 22 grid. Right. So we maybe need some kind of cell that's what's in each cell then? Probably change this as we go, but this is what each cell in the grid will contain. Is it like a union, or is it like a little struct? Or maybe it's just an enum. Maybe it's just like this. I know these two. Here you could do like a programming trap. I know this one and this one currently contain the same stuff, but they're not gonna do that for long. So you don't try to be like, oh, but I can combine this. And then we say grid is a what was it? 40 by 22. How big is, yeah, no, that's gonna be fine. Just put it on the stack like that for now, I think. So let's try to put the track pieces on the grid instead now. Because this currently compiles. But let's... yeah, and we can do like this. Grid height is 40, grid width 22, and then we do grid width times grid height, like that, and then hello John. John says it looks nice, thank you. We'll see where it goes. So what I'm trying to do, for anyone who joined late, I'm trying to make a little get started, maybe trying to kind of train game where I have some track and some station or something, but I keep derailing myself with different things and talking about different things. So I'm trying to see where this is going. Yeah, so this is our grid. Let's try placing things into that instead. And then that, okay, what we need here is something like this. We need a proc that gives us grid index, or grid index from chord. And then we do a proc p vec2i to a int. So because some people like using two-dimensional arrays here. I think it's almost always easier to use a one-dimensional array and then just have these things, because there are many reasons. If you want to be like old game engine, super speedy, fast person, then usually one-dimensional arrays perform a bit better due to cache reasons. But I don't know. I just feel like two-dimensional arrays often I don't have a good reason really. I just have this built-up feeling that I run into more problem using them usually. I don't know. So I usually do something like this. So then we can compute the index by doing return p dot. Well, how do I do this now again? Y times the grid width plus the p dot x. And what this means is that you look at the column, which column you're at with the coordinate, and then you multiply by how many you get for each whole width of the grid, and then you're at the correct sort of starting index for each row, and then you add in your x position. That's sort of what you do. Of course, here you could do like some extra security and be like, if idx is less than bigger equals to grid height times grid width, you can do an assert or something here. Whatever, I don't need Odin has like bounds checking, so if I run out of bounds at some point, it will crash and they will tell me why. So Justin says that he finds 2D arrays are often hard to work with in the long run than 1D arrays, and that they, especially if they are not fixed in size. Yeah, like a matrix is quite nice to have, I feel, as a two-dimensional array. Like if it's a small thing that where you have a very defined behavior, like a 4x4 matrix or something, then it's very nice to have it as a two-dimensional array. But if it's like a big sort of open area where there may be the width and maybe the width and height changes over time or something like that. But yeah, I don't have super good reasons really myself, but this is how I ended up doing it. Okay, let's do if idx is less than 0, then idx equals 0. If idx is bigger or equals to grid width times grid height, then idx equals grid width. Should it be 0 then, or yeah, let's just use 0, whatever. This probably will change at some point. Right, so what I need to do here now is get the idx equals grid, blah, 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 blah. Maybe I can even do this. Hover idx, take the hover chord, smack. And then we say, oh, maybe actually here cell, you need a none here, because that means there's nothing there. Otherwise everything will be tracks by default. That's what we call track mania. if cells hover IDX is not is none. If this is none at the one we're using, then cells hover IDX shall equal dot track. Like that. Cells, and the right mouse button then becomes very simple. We just do none. Very nice. What did I call it then? Grid. Okay. Sure. And then we just need to loop over the grid. Cell in grid, or it's more like, yeah. And then we can go the other direction from this also. So we can go grid chord from index. And then we just say, what do we say here? What do we say? You divide return vec2i. This one is it like this? Wait. Is that how you do it? I divided, that's the index. You divide it, no, the grid width. Because that's, then you get the x coordinate. Should this also be... We shall notice. We will notice when it goes wrong. Oh yeah. Bye bye, Justin. None. Yeah, it kind of works, but you can draw outside now. I think I know why. Wait, let me look at that again. Sort of that's the correct thing. But then over here, 0, 0 is up here. And I thought that if they are 50 wide, is this... How do you convert from coordinate to index now again? Because this seems correct to divide. Don't you do a modulo with the grid width? That's the remain, like this divides and then checks how much is left. So you take the index and you divide by the width. And then you see how much, when I did that, was left in it. Maybe I... yeah. I reversed those two numbers. That's the problem. Now I can do everything like before, but it uses a grid here instead, which is nice. So now we can go up here and remove this one. It doesn't complain. And we can then like this track thing here. What we need to do now is something like this. If switch placement mode here, something. Case.track, then we do this. Case.station, then we do I mean, this is not going to be correct because it needs to fill in the needs to fill in 6 of them. This can of course get weird at the end. I'm gonna ignore those bugs a bit for now, but let's just do something like so we go 3 sideways, so this will loop. It will start at hovercore.x and go hovercore.x plus 3, and then we do a y. I mean, this is of course a bit silly. Right, this should be 2, this should be 1, right? No, off by 1 error. And then we do something like this. I know this is wrong because you can currently place the stations in a weird way. It's because this one is not implemented. Draw station, maybe? Yeah, it does that. I mean, currently you can just do stuff like this. Yeah, you can just paint with station, but I'm gonna fix all that. Let's just focus on trying to get something that does something a bit fun here now. So what I want to do now is it will detect that, oh, I have a line that is continuously running from one station to the other. So then it will start running, like maybe I'll put a little red plop or something that just runs back and forth here, or something like that. And then we'll see later if we can do something more about the editing experience of this, but I first want to be able to place the little trainy things. And eventually, you know, they should go into, maybe I even make it so they go into the station, stop, and then they go here and stop, or something like that. Okay. So how to do that nicely? That's a good question. Good question. I need some concept of train line that is fully connected, that it knows that. Or is it that it needs it actually? It needs to know that it's gonna go from here to here. I mean, I could just save all these points in a list. I could just save all these points in a list and have it go around like that. But that's a bit boring, maybe. I was thinking if I could just save the endpoint, the 2 endpoints. I know what you should do. Maybe no, wait, that's maybe slow. I was thinking maybe I can just, whenever I place a station like this, maybe just adds a train here that it starts going. But no, the train must be related to that it's a fully connected line like this. So this one wouldn't get any train because it's not connected over here, but this one would, because there is like this one goes in here and then it goes out here. So if I then edit it and do that, then it needs to stop going, kind of. And if I reconnect it, it needs to start going again, or something like that. This looks like a person with glasses. Maybe he has some hair. Let's call him Bob. So essentially every time, okay, anytime something like this happens, I'll set this change flag to true, or if you remove one, I also do that. And here we do magic and sort of try to figure out the train lines. Maybe for now I recreate all the train lines whenever you, like yeah, so what should it do? Whenever I remove a tile like that, then it will stop running the train back and forth between the 2 stations. I'm very confused. How does it work that I can right click this and it removes the whole thing? It's only supposed to remove the one. Oh. This code doesn't even work, and none of this. Yeah. Currently it sets a station at this one, and these, so they set station here, and these does not even have a station on them, and this loop doesn't work because it uses hover index here. Funny. It should be like index from chord XY. Yeah. Something like that. But now this one would be crazy because it will paint a station for each one at a tile. And that's because, but that's simple to fix. That's just because the draw station should not do this. Because, now this one is wrong because draw station used to draw the whole size of it. Gonna steal this code down here. Whatevs. And then we do this. Why doesn't that work? Oh. So I'm a silly Billy. What? Oh. Lol. So now it works. Now I can place them. And if you now try to remove, you can remove pieces of the station, which should not be allowed in the long run, but you know, whatever. I need to figure out how to make my trains run on time. I need to figure out how to even make trains here. Okay, so now I fully connected it, and then it will be like, okay, look through all the tiles. Look through all the tiles and try to find a station tile. And then try to go from station tiles. You can go in like my idea here is that the stations, like, they go horizontally for now. I can't flip them right now, but you know, maybe later. But so if it starts like here, then it can go there or there, and then it will sort of just check if there's a path, and then eventually it will get into here. Question is if my path then should just be all of the things in order, like this. I think that's maybe the best idea for now, that the path is just a list of all the things it needs to do, go visit in order. Okay, let's try to program that a bit. What's that called? That's a route. A route is a struct. What does a struct contain? I mean a route. It contains a list of cells that it needs to visit. And they are presumed to be in order, that the last one is the first and the last one is supposed to be a sort of station tile. I will make sure that that's the case when I regenerate it. So it will just need which cells, like this maybe. Is that all it is? I think that will work for now. And then routes. It's dynamic all the way down here. Yeah. So we have a dynamic array of routes, and the route itself is a dynamic array of points, which is the points of this path, sort of. So let's see. I need more. I need more coffee without caffeine because it's late, but I will make that. I mixed both kinds of decaf and it tastes very fantastic. I'm gonna add more of the other one. It tasted weird. More! La 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 la. I think we should add a FPS limit. Set target FPS 500. Because the I mean, it runs the GPU as fast as it possibly can, or whichever, if it's GPU or CPU bound. But okay, so now I will calculate these routes based on. So I will, whenever I play something like this, then I will. So what we'll do here is we will maybe add a clear route. It's a proc. It takes a pointer to the route list and it will go like 4R in route. What's this? Routes, because I have so much dynamic memory going on here, so I need some kind of delete R dot cells, and then it needs to be delete maybe you can just do clear. Clear that one. Because now, whenever there's a change, I clear all the routes, and then I need to recalculate all the routes. I think that's what I want to do. I think that's what I want to do. So then we will go. This will just be some kind of algorithm thing here. Now we just go like 4. Okay, so we go over the grid. And sort of kind of what we need here is it needs to look at each point, right? And then it needs to look at each point. And then it needs to be like, okay, this is a station. Okay, let's try making a route from here. But then it also needs to sort of a list of which places have I visited before, which is sort of just an extra grid. So let's do something like this. Is it visited or is it in use? Let's call visited. So it's which ones we have considered before, because whenever it gets to something that, like a station that's not considered, then we'll try to go everywhere from there and add things to the visited list. And this would be like a make grid width times grid height bool and we make it using the temp allocator. So we only need it during this thing here. And if visited idx, then you continue. Right, that's like that. And then if visited id, no, not visit, but if cell equals dot station, so we know we haven't been here before and it's a station, then this will sort of do the whole thing inside here now, where it will try to figure out all the route thingies here. So the route contains of cells, so sort of like a route cells is a dynamic. The question is, we should try to make this one using it. Maybe we try doing this. Make dynamic vic2i using the temp allocator. Then we can copy it at the end if it succeeded in making it. That I'm a weird decaf. I mixed, so I use, like, for decaf coffee I use instant coffee because I don't really I like normal coffee, but if I want decaf, then usually the brewed versions tend to not taste so nice. And actually I found that for decaf the instant coffee usually tastes better for some reason. But I had an old kind and a new kind, and the old kind ran out, so I now mixed both, and it tastes kind of funny. But that's fine. Gotta be funny sometimes. So the minimum condition for making a track is that we've started at the station, right? And then we have wandered, and at least there's been one piece of track. Right. And then it has ended up at another station block. But in between there has been a track piece. So what it needs to do first is it needs to figure out, actually it can't just, because it might start at this block, but actually I want the list to be sort of in order, so I want it to search backwards first maybe, or it doesn't really matter, but it can start to the left because maybe that feels better. It can start and just go backwards and check, try to find the beginning. Like, the funny thing here is that what happens if it's like this? Because maybe it starts at here, but this one can actually go like that. Yeah, so what I think it needs to do, it needs to follow in any direction. It needs to follow until it hits a dead end, and then start from there, and then calculate the whole path. And that way you get a path that has all the... I mean, then you can of course ask yourself what's going to happen in this case. But let's ignore that for now. And let's try getting this case to work. So, actually, let's start with the one that assumes that, because it will get to this one first because of how it's laid out. So we do that, and then we add the thing I talked about where it sort of tries to walk backward, just to get some intermediate steps, which is always good for your sanity when doing things. So we will start there, and we go like, okay, yeah, what do I do now? So is this like a 4? This is like a while true, so for without a condition, and then I'd go like, okay, cur, I say like this, cur equals it's a bit annoying. I need both the position and I need both the position and the type. Okay, let's do something like this maybe. Wait, what does the route contain? It contains just these. What do I need down here? I need something to have my current. Maybe it's nice if the route cell contains a pos, kind of caches the type, and the type is a cell currently. Funny naming, but you know, it's all just funny prototyping. So the route, and it has a list of cells, and these have this. Yeah. Then it caches the type there. And then we have this. Current equals route cell. Oh yeah. Okay, so current goes in here. This is where we start. We start at this one, and then we say type equals dot station. Doesn't matter much right now. And then we say for, and then we do like switch cur, and then we say case dot, yeah, switch cur dot type, and then we say station, and for the station it needs to go to the left or to the right. To think here what's the best way to do this. So it's here, when it's here it needs to go to the left or to the right. Well, so okay, if we have something like this, we're on a track here, so we're here, then we need to alright, what we'll do is just something simple like this. I mean, you could just do this as kind of recursive function that sort of checks all the different directions and stuff, but what I can do here is just do something like this. We take the current coordinate. It's so funny that I talked a bit like, oh, it's so nice to only use one dimensional and only have the indices. Then suddenly it feels like it's a bit messy somehow. But I think that's just I still think it's the correct thing to do, probably. Grid in the curve, but X. Okay, so we do something like this. We check to the left first, which means that we do. So for the station, you can only go horizontal. For the tracks, you can go horizontal and up and down. So we check to the left. And so we do like this. And then curve becomes okay. How do I type this out nicely? Left equals, oops, I lost my copy paste. So we say is a vector to I, where we subtract 1 on this one, and we say here left. And in this case, if it's not visited, that one, then we say current equals pos is left, type is let's see here, the grid. Yeah, and the thing to the left of us is not none. If there's something there, then grid left. So this will move it then to the left like that. Okay. Oh, look at that nesting. Excellent. But it's fun. We're just doing some easy, funny prototyping here. It can be a bit. So the thing we see here now is that we're gonna have a lot of exactly this thing will happen a lot of times, I think. Okay, let's do this. I want to make a proc that sort of does this stuff, I think. But what will it take? It takes a position. Okay. But I also need the visited thing, and I need to update the current one and check the grid. Oh well. The grid is this thing. So we take the grid. Getting a bit tired here, but I'm trying to. I want to get my trains running before I end for the day. I will have the. What happened? Before I end there for today, I want to have the some little red train running back and forth between the stations. I feel like that would be nice. So how do I? Here I use visited, the grid. It's just a lot of random state things I have here. That's the silly problem. Let's try doing something like this maybe. And how do we change the current one? We do like this. So we just take this code, paste in here. So then we call this P instead of left, like that. Then we return this with true, but down here we return nothing and false. And now we can just do if new comma OK equals advance visited grid and then left. Then we say cur equals new. Is new like a keyword I can use? I don't know. We'll find out. Then we can just do this here. That's what I was trying to do. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, can't use that. Oh. Yeah, okay, here I need to check the OK flag. So a nice thing you can do is you can define two things like this, and then you can check the OK, and these variables here will be valid within this block. cur.post.x. Okay. Let's try that. And handle switch case and none and track. Case none, case track. None shouldn't really ever happen, should it? Track we can. What's it complaining about? Grid index from chord. Okay, let's do this. We need to use the index here, index there, the index here. Oh yeah, that's not how you do it. You do it like that. Bam! So program. It's in an infinite loop. Because there's a 4 here and no break ever. Here we have a break. Here we have a break, and then we have a what do we call this? We call this a. Let's close this for now. This is like the calculate route calculation loop, like that. So if it gets down here, then it couldn't get anywhere. So then we just do break route calculation loop. Now I think it still hangs. Okay, I'll figure it out. You'll be fine. It's because this thing doesn't. No, wait. This one goes to the left and it goes to the right. If any of those succeed, then it will set the new one, and then it will break, and then it will go around here. Why wouldn't that work? Interesting. Just super hangs. Hangs in a infinite loop. Let's just check here let's do this. Do cur. Bam. Oh, I know why. It doesn't add anything to the visited list. So it needed to be like lol 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 visited, like here visited that, I guess. Still hung. Oh yeah, of course, because cur.pos from grid index from chord. Need to do something like that. We'll see now. Yeah, now it didn't crash, because, and if we look in the wait, do I don't get? Oh yeah, I'm not printing it anymore. So get down here. We get. Try to go to 19 to 19. Oh yeah, so that's reasonable. That's the. It's one per line, sort of here. Okay. So let's now that works. Let's go into the track case, and then we have like up is this. Go -1. What do you mean left? And it's all just like this. Up. Down, plus, and then we have these two cases we can steal, and of course, as usual, if we can't go anywhere, we didn't get anywhere. Left, right, something, something. I'm gonna add a button here now so that I can print all the current if rl.isKeyPressed.r fmt.print 4r in routes fmt.println r. So now I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do that, and I press. How do I? Oh, it never adds it to routes. I'm like, oh, am I done yet? So we set failure to false here, and here it's well, we can call it fail. So if it ever reaches this one, then it's always failed because it had to terminate the loop, right? Failed, failed. Right. Go down here. If not fail, then we need to take these. I just realized it's not even adding anything to RC yet, but we'll fix that. I mean, you could also do without this one. What you could do is you could do one pass where you check like this. Did it work? And you do another pass where you do exactly all the same thing, but you actually also build the list and just make their little train route. But let's ignore that. Let's ignore that for now. Let's see now what we're doing. So essentially need to do this. Append RC. What is RC? Yeah, cur.pos. We append to there. And keep in mind this is temp allocated, so we don't really. But down here then we can I do like slice? Wait, wait, I'm gonna check something here. I think I've done something quite unusual. This doesn't need to be dynamic. The only reason this needs to be dynamic is because you want to this needs a route cell. Wait. Maybe RC can be a dynamic list of route cells. Okay, there's gonna be a little thingy here I can say about all this. Like, if you have an algorithm that is calculating something, then you can use a temp allocated dynamic list while working out what you're trying to do, like the result. But then at the end, you can make a slice without a dynamic thingy, and that can be what you actually store. So that will be up here. The route will be a slice of route cells, like just like that. That I just alloc once and I just clone it from the dynamic one. This one needs to be dynamic because the number of routes will change, but a route when it's created will never change in size, So down here, I think it's like slice, clone, exactly here. Copy a slice into a new slice. So this is quite nice. You can just do something like append routes, and then you do like slice.clone, and what you do then is RC. So currently this thing here is a dynamic route cell allocator with temp allocator. If you do RC, if you do that, then you get something that is of type route cell. It's a slice. It's a slice that contains. It's a slice of that looks on. The slice doesn't dynamically allocate anything, but it's a slice that shows you everything that's in this dynamic thing. But it has dropped the sort of dynamic info that it is a dynamic array. Instead, it is just a slice. And when you've done that, then you can just use the slice.clone to clone this to a new slice. And if you don't append anything here, then it uses the default allocator. So this way you can just take your temp allocated or this thingy, turn it into a slice, clone it, and then get a new slice. I realize here that I need to construct R is a route And this is the cells, I think, like that. Then we append that. Yeah, and then we need to import core slice. This is funny, this stuff, because Odin uses the quotation marks for import, and I have the spelling checking thing on in Sublime. So it's like, oh, this is, you didn't spell mem correctly here. Can turn that off. Don't need it right now, but and then maybe I pressed some button here, so I accidentally made changes to the standard library. Wait, what have I done? Okay, I think my build script is not so good with when you don't have the correct file. I think it gets the wrong working directory, so it gets a bit crazy. And now if I press R, nothing happens. Wait, because it always fails right now, because it gets to a station and then it's at the end. This shouldn't happen if I can do like this. Has seen one track. False. And then we go down here. This will be annoying. I need to. No, we can set it to true here. I thought I would have to put it in here, but no. And then if it has not seen at least one track piece, then this is a failure, because then it has just looked inside a single station and gotten from this end to this end. But if it gets to the end of another station, it comes to here, then this is not a fail if it can't continue over here, you know. That's all right. Still doesn't work though, but has seen one track. I know why, because I don't support it. I need to connect them front to back first. I don't support that yet. Still doesn't work, does it? Wait, where is this key? Where is this code even put? Right, so just somewhere in there. Yeah, routes is an empty array. It continues to be an empty array. Why does it always fail? Wait, this needs to always break here, but the fail shouldn't always. I think it might have. I don't even know how that. Something is wrong with that also. We'll see soon. There we go. Bam, bam, bam. Suddenly it had a route. I was printing like crazy. This one did print once. Oh. Press R. Now it has a route with lots of cells inside it. If I remove this and press it again, then there's no routes. It doesn't print anything more. But if I re-add it, then there are routes. Yay. Okay. So let's add a little train for each route that is connected. Yeah. So see here. A train is a struct that has I'm almost like I'm not sure the routes will be, maybe the train can keep its route. Nah. Okay, for now we will recreate all trains whenever we change stuff, but it, yeah, just to get somewhere. Let's just copy the whole route in here for now, and then we say cur cell is a route. It's int. It's just an integer into the route. Then we move that little thingy along, back and forth. Righty. So if it succeeded here, then we'll also make a train. T is a train, and it has route R, and then yeah, it doesn't need. We just start at the first one, so we don't need to initialize the current cell. Trains, we have T. And then we need a list of trains. A dynamic list of trains is a dynamic list of train. Okay. Now we have a train. Let's draw the train before we do anything else. So let's draw it after we draw all these things. For T in trains. Okay. Route cell is t.route t.cell index, or whatever it's called. Current cell. And then we just then that has a position. Right, so we have a position, then we can just do something like this. We go here, we steal this code. This would usually give us a screen cell. There's an rl.rectangle. This would usually give us a rectangle that's as big as the cell. Let's just make it a bit small. Oh, we're gonna steal some code from Cat and Onion now. We're gonna do inset rect, this proc here. This just takes a rect and makes it smaller, but also makes sure to kind of shrink it from all directions. That's my how I'm gonna do engine, reuse. Well, how people say reuse engine code. Yeah, I will copy and paste over code that I have from the old project into the new one, and that shall be my reusable code. Then you can just do something like this: train rect inset, and then we say just how much? 10 pixels on each side, maybe. At some point in this game, I'll add. At some point in this game, I'll add. What am I doing here? I will add some kind of concept of, you know, the pixel density, so I don't just work in true pixels like this, but that's usually not the best idea to do first. Color track, I want maybe the train to be like reddish. Color train. Here's a funny thing. You know, when you type words like this, you type track here, station, train, the names you put here, you know, you would tend to say, oh, it's temporary. Sometimes it is, but sometimes some funny thing you type in here will end up being there for a long time. I have in Cat and Onion code base, I have colors, and this is the funniest one, color cat. So I have this is the 8 colors that are available in Cat and Onion, right? And all of them have sensible names, except the first 2 maybe, sky and cat. This is the background color of the sky. And initially, the only thing in that game that was supposed to use the red color, or like the pink red color, was the player character to make it stand out. But then I started using it for a few, like the UI and a few other things use it also. So then I used to have in my UI, I'm like, okay, I need a border with the red color. And sometimes I type color red, but I'm like no, it's color cat. It would have been easy to sort of fix. But this is something I wrote on, you know, for no reason at all. Like that a long time ago, and it stayed, and this is the name it shipped with, so that's fun. Color train, some kind of red, green, blue, 244, red, green, blue, 128, nah, that's a bit strong, 50, 255. And then we go back down here. Oh, we have a few lines in this program now. 355. Look at that. What is it complaining about? RC.pos. RC.pos. Hopefully now, when I make a complete one, it will be a little red plop. There it is, there's a train! Ah. And this one will not work. Well, no, it worked because I will do it backwards. So it's drawing that one. And then I can remove it, and it disappears, and I can re-add it. Okay. Can do this, I think. Yeah. Cool. Now I just want to make this move, and then I like it want to move to it can snap. Maybe we can have time to do some interpolation, but for starters I wanted to every number of seconds it's gonna snap to the next cell, and if it's already at the last cell it will go backwards instead. So the back and forward kind of thingy, I guess, is going forward, bool. This means it will plus on the cell index, and if this is false it will go minus on it. Sure. And then I need a little timer in there as well. Like that's the move timer, whatever. Move timer. And then we have the train here. Train. Okay, and then we go here. Right now I'm mixing the update and the drawing code quite madly, but you know, I will just experiment a bit like this, and then I'll do a pass where I try to break it up a bit nicely. I feel that is usually nicer for creativity than trying to be like, okay, I need to split things up nicely first and do all the nice things nice. Nah. So if the timer has run out, then we say like this. Okay, we can do t.timer minus equals rl.getFrameTime, and if t dot going forward. Then we do t.cursel plus equals 1. If t.cursel is bigger than, hello Jacob, it's going quite well. I'm gonna try to make my train move now. Here's what I have. Wait, show you. I will show you. It's not much, but I can paint. This is what I have for my track right now, and then I can put out my stations, and when I do this, then it doesn't work. There. Why didn't this one work? But okay. Anyways, there's my little train, and it's gonna go back and forth here between these two stations. This is a station here, and this station has like 3. This is one track of station, this is another track of the station, and it's gonna go back and forth here, I thought. We'll see. Why, but interesting there. Why didn't it, was that a case of the, is there a bug in my route calculation code maybe? Up, left, right, up. Oh yeah, here is the bug now. The down check is broken. The down check is broken. Do. Now it works, and I can remove it. Isn't that supposed to? Ah, it doesn't remove all trains when it recalculates the routes. Let's do that for now, because the trains is just okay. So then I can just clear the trains. Clear trains. Now this should work. I can do this. Go up like that. Add in that one. Remove it, and then read it back. Nice. Oh no, it leaked memory. Yeah, I know. It's some. It's the memory of the routes and the trains and the stuff you complained about there. Yeah, maybe you didn't even see what I was talking about. It was this. We can fix this just to show that on line 268 and 270. 268 is why don't I have line numbers anymore? So it's this one. It's the routes, and then it's the trains probably. So what we'll do is we will do this. We'll do clear routes, then we'll do delete routes, and then we'll do delete trains. Then we do that, then we close it, and we have no more memory leak. Haha. Okay. So now we will go in here and we will mess around with the timer here. So we have a timer. The timer is for when the train should move forward along its path. So we have a timer that gets counted down all the time, and when it hits 0 or -0, and I know this maybe can lose some time here because maybe it should. It's not perfect, but if t.cursel t.cursel plus equals 1, if t.cursel is bigger or equals than len of t.routes.cells, then t.cursel equals t.route len t.routes.cells -1, and then it goes backwards. True. No, false. I like. This is a funny, people usually say you shouldn't use negatives in for your devs, for your bools. But with zero initialization, like when you try to rely on zero initialization, I sometimes just prefer like saying a negative. I know backwards and forwards is really negative, but maybe it's like I prefer adding a not in front of some word rather than just having to initialize it to true, because I like keeping the zero initialization working as much as possible. A lot of errors. Oh yeah, this is because it's because of many things. Move timer is called. Yeah, and then it's of course doesn't work because you can't assign to this, because you need a ampersand here to make this into a reference. We can, otherwise it's just a immutable value. Route.cells. Okay, so that works. And if we else, okay, now this is wrong. We're going backwards here. So this code is supposed to be here, and now we're going backwards. We take this code and put it up here. We're going backwards, so we minus. If we are under 0, then we say that current cell is 0, and we're going forwards. I think that might work. Wait, I haven't set the timer. Yeah. A move timer equals how fast should how many milli, like 250, a quarter of a second at each, maybe a bit more, half a second at each like that. Train move speed. And then we need to reset this one, of course, on the train here and here, and then we do this and we put this here. Oh, it's very excited. Sir, you're being, oh, I know why. It only sets it at the endpoint. It doesn't, it needs to do it here, not there. Mr. Train, you're being very fast. Now it's gonna go, oh, I clicked. Now it's gonna go like yay! It even stopped a bit at the end. That's just because it's how the code is written. It gets a double stop there, so it looks like it takes a little nice break, but it's just a side effect of how I wrote that. And then we can add more. As you see, currently it deletes all trains whenever I paint, which is very boring. Does this, will this, how will this do? Will this continue on? I think so. Yeah. Nice. Okay. So there's two things here I can look at. I can either look at making them move smoothly, which might be fun. I think that's maybe what I want to do. There's also the thing with that they all disappear whenever I do any changes. They recalculates everything. But let's maybe do the smooth movement first. That's just a nice little interpolation essentially. Using the move timer. To go from the move timer goes from 1 minus, or train move speed minus this. Let's see here. Yeah, we need to do some ugly code to calculate the next cell. If t dot moving going backwards else. So if we're going backwards, then we need to take the next cell is t dot is this -1. Here's of course a crash, you see, with this, but we just do like this. Okay, let's set this one by default to be the same, so that because if it's at the end stations, then that's correct actually. Then we can just do if t dot cursor is bigger than 0. Let me do this. And if we're going forwards, then we check if t cursor is less than length of t dot route dot cells. And then we just take this instead here. This will probably compile. No, okay. It was a little extra colon there. Colon is for defining new variables. I was assigning. Okay, next. And now we just need to lerp the position. And that's easy to do. We just need to take this thing. P1 equals we can use the RL as vector. I don't have vector type really defined in my game. I don't have my own, but we just use this one. Let's call it n. Next cell. Okay. So P1, P2, and then pos is math.lerp from P1 to P2, and this one takes a normalized thing between 0 and 1. So we say math.smooth step. What do we smooth step? From edge to edge with x. Yeah. From 0 to move speed with train move speed minus t dot timer, right? Because the timer will start at train move speed. Like that. And then we just say post.x, post.y. La. This is a little annoying thing. It's called move timer, not timer. If we're very lucky now, it will move smoothly. Ooh, but it's crazy. It's moving all the way to the end point. It looks funny. What happened? Oh. Dude, this is this should be +1 here, right? Not take the end index. Dude, why is it stopping? Should I move? It moved to the end and crashed. Yeah, index 19 is out of range. Oh yeah, there needs to be a -1 here. I like the train just slowly moves to the end and then the program crashes. Yeah, there we go. How? Why do they stop like that though? They must be. I must made of some kind of. Zeros to train move speed. This gives a value. Between 0 and 1. Oh no, that's... I'm gonna get my favorite function from Cat and Onion. My remap function with a clamp. Because I'm too dumb for... everything else. I just need a remap that explicitly says the old value, the old mean, the old max, the new mean, the blah 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 blah. Post t is remap. Let's do it like this. Let's work now again. You take the old value, so you take this thing here, and then this one goes from 0 to train move speed, and then it goes from 0 to 1, and then I use that in my lerp. This one uses some things I don't have imported. Yay! It might stutter a bit, and I think that's because the timer of the underflows a bit, like it loses some time every now and then. I think that's why it's stuttering a bit, and I think that's easy to fix. Move timer equals, not you, but you. Like, you just do this, you just take whatever is left in here. Whatever is left in here is equal either 0 or less than 0. So then you can just decrease this one a bit. I think it will move smoother now. We'll see. Not really. But it's not important right now. It might also be related to where we're actually changing the move timer. Is that the case? Anyways, not important right now. I want to, in this project, I also want to make sure I do like proper time step with if I ever like just make sure that all my time steps sort of well, in my previous game, I had some kind of physics going on which where you could jump around, and then I quite late fixed my time step according to the Fix Your Time Steps blog post. That is very good. But yeah, there we go. I of course would like it to stop a bit at the last tile in each station. It should stop a bit and do something. But I mean, I don't even know what the gameplay is yet. I'm just like, train good, train good, train good. All right. Maybe as a last thing, we'll try to look at, or maybe that would be tricky. Maybe I need to rethink. I was thinking of the thing where I would like to not have there's several issues here. I need to make sure that currently tracks that do this. This is not gonna work. Okay, it did work. I think this is not gonna work. Yeah, there's a slight bug here. You see it starts at this one and it starts going. You should start at this one. That's because it doesn't look backwards and start from there and then count onwards. But because it starts at the top left one, it finds. But it's just, it's all fixable. How nice. Yeah, maybe let's try to quickly fix so it doesn't remove all trains when I click it. It's a bit. It's this kind of problem where I'm using dynamic arrays and for the routes, you know, and maybe it would be better if I didn't and stuff. I could use like fixed arrays so I could keep the indices and stuff. But because now it currently recreates all the routes whenever one route has changed, it recreates all the routes. It should maybe instead find, what it should do is it should look. I kind of need to take this code and make it so it can search for things along the track, so it can kind of look like, is there a train? Is there if I do this, then it can be like, okay, you just removed something here. Is there a route connected to this one that was removed? Okay, then we find that route and remove it and remove any train on that route. But maybe that's for next time actually. Oh, this one, this makes it sad. Oh yeah, because that one suddenly doesn't have a. Oh, this is very funny. I know what this one is gonna do. This one is gonna go out here and then go back in. It's gonna go down and then back because that was the only way it could go there. That's quite funny. And this one, it probably went like. Here probably went. Yeah, I probably need some kind of, when I get graphics in, I need some kind of track pieces with directions on it and some kind of logic for how they're placed and stuff, but this should work. It will go, either it will go down, I think it will go up first. Yeah, it's just coincidental of how the code is written. Well, it's funny, I can erase parts of stations like that. We'll see exactly what. I'll try to figure out some better gameplay, like what you actually do. But trains is always a good start. Anyways, I think I'm done for today. It's like past midnight here. I'll do some more on this someday. I'll work on the smart thingy for making it only change the stuff that, well, only updating the routes and the trains that are affected maybe, and some stuff like that. And then maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But it was fun to get going with something. And yeah, so we shall see where this goes. I mean, this is just super rough first. There's not even any gameplay, and these, like the chat says, they just look like, they don't even look like trains because they don't have a chain of them. But that's of course something that would be added. But best first thing is to just have plops that move around, and then add more complicated things later. Oh well. Thank you for watching, everyone. I will see you next time. Have a good day. Bye bye.